Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on talkradio.nyc and streaming live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. We talk, again, comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all that fun stuff, all the good stuff that people want to talk about. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. And as always, I'm your host, Mike Dolce, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Hassan Godwin.
Hello. How is everyone? I actually managed to share
and
before you introduce me, so I can actually say hello on cue.
Impressive.
Yeah,
so
I'm thrilled.
We are joined by our guest producer, Mr. Rob K.
Hello, Rob.
Formerly of the Rob and Callie Show.
Superman Rob. He's got the Superman S on.
In honor of y'all.
And
thank you.
Our alpha intern, Anna. 3 out of 4 of us comprise the birthday bunch, the birthday weeks.
That's right.
I'm expecting a huge birthday audience tonight. In fact,
really?
I will be disappointed if I do not get a huge birthday audience tonight.
Awesome. See, I don't have that kind of pressure.
Right, because yours is tomorrow.
Yeah, and
So
we're not on the air tomorrow.
And alpha intern Anna is on Monday. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I still feel like alpha intern Anna is like an alliteration, but I know it's AIA.
Yes.
Which is not alliteration.
No, it is not.
But it just flows very nicely.
It sounds great,
right?
But it's just not alliterated.
It works. It just kind of works,
It doesn't. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not alliterated.
Maybe
no, you can't.
Alpha intern.
You can't just change the spelling of words.
Oh, she just did it.
What? Just so. Okay.
So, do you know who the alpha intern was at Wizard though? It was Mr. Dave Marshall.
Was it?
Yeah, and Dave Marshall is now like bigwig at Dark Horse Comics.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, big guy. So give a shout out to Dave Marshall if he's listening to us.
Shout out to Dave Marshall. That's a weird segue.
Yeah, where it's
kind of like non sequitur.
We've got a great show tonight, but before we do, we're on Amazon Alexa. Look up Spreaker Podcast, Radio Player.
Are you paying the bills right now? Is that what you're doing?
This doesn't actually pay the bills, to be honest with you. I just want more people to listen to us. I want people to download us. So find us on Spreaker. Go to Spreaker Podcast, Radio Player. Alexa, open Spreaker. Alexa, open Secrets of the Sire. We're on iTunes.
Yes, we are.
And we're on all kinds of podcasting apps. So please download our podcast. If you've missed episodes, we know you've missed episodes. Go download them. Go find them on iTunes, Google Play. Just type in Secrets of the Sire, S-I-R-E, or my last name, Dolce. We are going to be talking Justice League. We're going to be talking Punisher, which kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Justice League as much as we can because we haven't seen it yet. It hasn't.
But a lot of reviews are coming in. And I want to pose the existential question.
I understand that, but I'm just saying I'm just controlling expectations right now because we're going to talk about it as much as we can. We can't.
Yes.
We haven't actually seen
We have an embargo.
Yes.
It's very exciting.
Well,
no, we don't have an embargo.
We don't have an embargo. We're just coming from a deficit of actual knowledge because we haven't seen it.
The people out there don't need to know this.
I'm sorry. Was I being truthful again?
Yeah.
That's me.
No. We know everything that's going to happen.
It's because of my birthday. It's my day coming up. I just feel compelled to be truthful.
But what you talk about is actually pretty spot on, though, right? I mean, because they literally just lifted the embargo for reviews today. Rotten Tomatoes is not even going to release their score until tomorrow,
which bodes not so well.
Never bodes really well, right? But that being said, we did get some reviews. Reviews are coming in for the movie, and we're gonna talk about a couple different things. But let's start with the reviews themselves. I'm just reading mixed reviews. I'm reading like.
Oh wait! You did.
What's that?
You did say a little something about what's coming out Friday.
Oh, I will. Yeah, Punisher. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you were leading into that. Though. Going into
we're gonna like I said, we're gonna cover the Punisher. We're actually gonna play Would You Rather, which is gonna be very exciting. I'm gonna basically play this.
I don't play games, so
no.
I mean, yeah,
it can be very exciting.
You can play it on your own.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna.
We're gonna do a little Would You Rather, and it's gonna be Hassan. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Okay.
I actually have some good ones too.
You do.
Yeah, I a little bit of pride there.
Good Would You Rathers.
But again, let's start with this, right? Mm-hmm. Does it mean anything that Rotten Tomatoes decided to withhold their embargo?
Yeah, it does. It means that it's got it potentially has
withhold their reviews. Sorry, not their embargo.
It means it's probably accumulated some pretty bad reviews.
Or
therefore, they're not going to score it until it comes out, so that the narrative about the movie doesn't start before the movie actually becomes.
Yeah, because it's going to start 12:01 Eastern on Thursday. But it's part of the site's new Facebook show, which is See It or Skip It. You know, so basically they're copying us because we stream live on Facebook, and they're like, "Hey, this Facebook thing, this might have there might be something to it.
There might be something
there."
All right.
And they wouldn't release it. So the funny thing about Justice League 2, I just read an article in Entertainment Weekly, and it's all about Justice League.
Okay.
But it's not. It has nothing to do with the movie. So
most of those articles don't really have anything to do with anything.
They were talking about the comic book history of it, which again, we could talk comic book history of Justice League till the cows come home. But usually,
even though I don't have a farm, so if they come home, that'd be awkward.
And usually, and here's the other odd note about it, right? Is the cover of the Entertainment Weekly wasn't Justice League; it was Outlander. Outlander, yes,
really,
which is in mid-season.
The Starz TV show
right now.
Actually, it's towards the end. They're close to the end.
Right. That's the cover of the show. And there's a Justice League feature. It's 2 or 3 pages long and has nothing to do with Justice League.
There's
the
all
movie.
kinds of weird happening. Like as a sidebar, as a total sidebar, but it is slightly relevant.
Yeah.
I went to see, I don't know, I think Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, that Marvel.
Yeah, that other thing. That other slightly.
Mm-hmm.
And they of course they swamped us with trailers just before it happened.
Sure.
And a trailer for The Last Jedi came out.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Trailer for Black Panther came out.
Yeah.
And there was a standing ovation.
Really?
Yeah, it's just weird the focus
that
people are on. People are kind of on like their own stream of consciousness where they've decided what's legit and what's not legit in their own way with no justification for it, because we've seen neither of these movies. We don't know which movie is better or worse.
Sure.
But I think there's a kind of an unfair bias towards stuff like Star Wars, like obvious spectacles.
Sure.
Like in Justice League might also fit into this category.
Yeah.
Where it's a lot of glitz and a lot of glam, and it's being set up as it's supposed to be this big event. Mm-hmm. And I think people are feeling, well, all right.
Well, let me stop you right there. Actually, where you sit there and say it's supposed to be this big event. I actually feel like Warner Brothers is almost kind of like shuffling it under the rug at this point. They're like, we won with Wonder Woman. We're good. Like, we're good. We're good for the rest of the year. We're good. Like, we know there's a lot of reshoots. We know Zack Snyder had to get off it. We know Zack Snyder wasn't even the fans' choice at this point to stay on it. We know Ben Affleck, which was just revealed recently, that he wants to find a way to graciously exit the role of Batman. So now he's gone from, yes, I'm going to be Batman, to I'm considering doing the Batman solo movie in 2018.
I think it's a mistake for him to not do it.
I think so too. I think especially because he's very good too. The reviews that I'm reading of his performance was, hey, Batman, Ben Affleck Batman was one of the bright spots of Batman v Superman. He is even better in this movie. And stop me if you've heard different reviews, because I know we've talked to some people who've seen it.
Yeah.
We've talked to some people who were either at the premiere. We've talked to people who have gotten to see it. Mm-hmm. I'm hearing Wonder Woman shines, Ben Affleck is great, Aquaman is intriguing.
I'm hearing broader things,
mm-hmm.
like it's actually fun,
mm-hmm.
and it's lighthearted,
yeah,
even though it looks kind of heavy,
yeah,
and it brings a lot of humor to it, and it's more colorful than the other two washed out kind of films that they've had before that. So I'm hearing general things. I'm not hearing like personable things like that Batman is like really. I'm
hearing
really
Flash was a waste of time, and it's tough it's tough. He's probably the one character that has the most to lose, because the TV show is just so revered right now. So there's something you could literally put up against, a mirror with that.
And it's not. And I mean, there hasn't been a Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But Affleck, that's an accomplishment for him, because there's been a ton of Batman. Between 1990 and now. Yeah. There's been like a whole crap ton of Batman. So
yes.
I don't know. Flash. He moves around really quickly.
Yeah.
That's really all he has to do for me. Like, and of course he's not. The TV show is a completely different thing.
But I think the character's being treated a little differently than TV show. Right?
Absolutely.
Like the character, not when he's running around fast.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to treat
we've seen it from the trailer. We've seen.
Well,
glimpses.
from the. I mean, there's a lot of Whedоnisms in it. There's a lot of one-liners and goofiness and stuff like that. But I mean, look, that's the thing now, right? So, and he'll be the one to be the focal point of that.
That's a great point too, right? Like that's the thing. Like Tom Martin commented and talking about director of the Thor movie, and has that become the thing now? Do we need superhero movies now to not be superhero movies? Because Justice League of America should be. I mean, that should be an earth-shattering movie. And the reviews I'm reading, fun, better than expected. I've gotten that. I've actually gotten a lot of that. So obviously what they're doing is the Van Helsing theory, which for fans of the show, they know what the Van Helsing theory is. By the time I saw Van Helsing, it got shot down so low
badly.
beneath my expectations that when I went in and actually watched it, I was like, well, this isn't that bad. This was actually kind of enjoyable.
Compared to hell,
right.
This is great.
Well, no, but people, yeah, exactly.
Compared to being beaten,
right? Because people were like, Van Helsing is the single worst movie they've ever seen, and I'm like, that wasn't that bad.
Van Helsing is pretty bad, but I don't know about the single worst movie.
People were, I mean, just destroying.
People are dumb.
But by the time I actually saw it, I was like, well, it's not that bad. I don't understand what people are doing.
That's honestly what I said about Fantastic Four when the last one, the latest one. Because people had decided that movie was crap 6 months before it came out.
Yeah.
So by the time I saw it, it had so much garbage, so much baggage to carry around. That when I actually sat down and watched it, I'm like, yeah, I see there's mistakes.
And I think
this is fine, up until that ending. I don't know what they were doing with that ending.
Right. But that's the new narrative for it, right? I mean, the new narrative is, this is the greatest thing you've ever seen. Go see it.
I know.
Or it's the worst thing you've ever seen.
Yes.
But either way...
Which is what I try to avoid. I usually try to avoid doing that.
It's very difficult.
It is difficult if you fall into the hysteria.
Yeah.
It's not difficult if you're kind of thinking independently for yourself. And you're like, look, I just want to enjoy this. No matter what, when you spend your money to see a movie, you just want to enjoy it. That's the point.
Let me ask you a question, though. What is independent thinking anymore? I don't feel like there's independent thinking anymore. I feel like we're at this hive.
You can think.
We're this hive mind now.
There is totally independent thinking, and independent thinking is easy because collective thinking is in your face all the time. It's on social media. It's everywhere. So the hive mind is constantly telling you to stay engaged, to click on this, to do this, to be.
I know.
All you have to do is be like, I don't want to be part of that.
That's the thing. So
how? No,
we're gonna expand on this. We're gonna expand on that because I think it's a great topic. We're also gonna talk about reasons why Justice League can afford to fail, and then we're gonna play Would You Rather.
There, you're doing it. So now you're doing it.
I know.
You're spreading the disease.
Well, that's what
you're a carrier.
Yeah, of course. That's our entire show. Our entire show is a.
We are a independent
disease carrying. No, but we are independent thinkers. But now we're feeding into the masses. We're gonna break into this. Would you rather watch Justice League on opening night? Or stream the Punisher series too. We'll get into that next.
I'd rather do both. Done.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you stuck in a rut? Negative thoughts, feelings, and conversations got you down? Hi, I'm Noreen Sumter, the Potentiator. Tune in every Tuesday, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and listen for new ideas on my show, Beyond Potential. Live life your way on talkradio.nyc.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
joined by my esteemed colleague and co-host, Lord of the Radio.
Lord of the Radio.
Lord of the Radio.
Thank you very much.
Do you have to apply? Do you have to like go to college for that? Is there some sort of like classes?
I could tell you how to become Lord of the Radio, but then you'd become Lord of the Radio, and I wouldn't be Lord of the Radio
This is
anymore.
very true.
No such thing as co-lord.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night on talkradio.nyc and also streaming live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. Welcome to John G. Gonzalez and Tom Martin and Brian Everham. They're all streaming live. They're all throwing in their 2 cents. Daquan Kane actually kind of followed what you were saying, Hassan, and he said he plans on watching both The Punisher and JL. Which just call it JLA. Just stop calling it Justice League. It's JLA, right? JLA. That's just me. That's my own personal preference.
All right.
JLA at midnight. Punisher the rest of the day.
There you go. So Thursday night, tomorrow night.
That's a lot. You know, are you going to go to the bathroom? Or are you going to actually?
Did he say he wasn't going to go to the bathroom?
Are you going to be able to get stuff in to
Are
do?
you inventing obstacles for that plan?
I'm just going by natural human biology.
I'm pretty sure he is he's mature enough and advanced enough to press pause in case he needs to go tinkle at some point.
But I'm saying you won't be able to get it all in the one day.
Maybe his television is close enough to his bathroom that he could just continue to listen.
Maybe he doesn't need to move.
Maybe that's dark. Maybe he's got a TV in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Like a flat screen on the wall. Mm-hmm. Done.
We're going to welcome Daquan on the show in a couple weeks. He's going to talk about his Kickstarter. It's going to be very exciting.
Yes, and hopefully avoid telling us about his bathroom.
Joel Movey chimed in, a show on your birthday. What a trooper! That's me. I am.
It's his show.
Here's a little.
He's the star of this show. Why wouldn't you be the star of a show on your own birthday?
Maybe I want to.
Your face is everywhere. It's all you, dude.
Well, that'll change in a couple weeks.
I don't even exist, really.
It's going to be very exciting. we have actually. It's a great time to drop this too. We have our 100th show coming up next month.
The 100th show.
So we're going to do a 2-hour. We're going to do a 2-hour extravaganza here. We've got a lot of things planned, potentially a new set, but probably not till the new year. But whatever, we're going to do a lot of good things.
Well, don't tease things that won't happen.
No, they will happen. They just might not happen.
Yeah, but
then.
Maybe not for that show.
And this is a lesson for our alpha intern. You can go out the night before for your birthday, and it just hurts much, much more as you get older. That's the lesson. There you go. So it'll even hurt. It'll hurt like I used to go out all the time. And now I'm subjugated and relegated to not going out all the time because physically I cannot actually make it out of my house. But I did last night, knowing that I had a show, so that was kind of the thing.
I'll be working during my birthday, so
yeah,
I'll be out technically.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, technically.
I'll be
but
out.
You'll be
I'll
out
be out of the house.
Yeah, you'll be out after, but like out, like actually like out.
Well, that's out. Because I won't be in, so that's out.
I meant like out, like having a good time. Like work does not qualify as a good time.
Oh, so you're like you mean partying?
Yes.
See, my generation used to call that partying. We don't call that out.
Joe Movey says a kegerator in your house helps build up tolerance. I could do the kegerator, but the problem is I would balloon. I would literally balloon.
You'd probably kill your liver.
That'll die on its own. That'll die on its own.
Yeah, but you want to stave that off as long as possible. You don't want to hasten that.
Yeah.
So
I want to thank everyone.
Joe Movey's idea is not that good.
I want to thank everyone for the birthday wishes. I want to extend birthday wishes to my co-host, whose birthday is
Michael.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
So very excited about that. He will be out at work.
I will be out at work. Yes.
He'll have the kegerator at work.
I'll be out at work, which means I'll be out to lunch.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So we were talking Justice League, and we're going to do a little Would You Rather game, and people are chiming in, what would they rather do, Justice League or Punisher, and we'll get back to that in a second. But first, I wanted to read the story that I read on Forbes.com, and it's actually a pretty telling article in terms of like
telling
why...
it in the fact that you actually finished the article?
No, I didn't finish the article. In fact, I'm going to read it for the first time here.
Oh, okay.
No, but it's actually telling us to why we kind of get this feeling that that Warner Brothers is kind of like just brushing this one under the rug a little bit.
I see. That's so strange because I don't really get that feeling.
You don't think so?
Not really. No.
Hiding. I think
because
for me,
they kind of did the same thing with Wonder Woman, but it didn't. You know, so that's not because everyone was predicting the same thing. It was like, well, there's not a lot of fanfare about it, so obviously they're trying to brush it under the rug. And I mean, maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but it didn't seem to matter. Yeah, you know, the movie still, and also the same thing with didn't we have this conversation with Spider-Man? It's you know it's lackluster.
We have many conversations. Yeah, that people should go onto iTunes and download. And to listen.
But the idea was that it was lackluster. That was not, you know, it wasn't being showcased a lot.
Well, I mean, but that kind of goes back to your point from last week too, where I think there's so much noise out there. There's so much media now, and it's social media.
Yeah. So why would you have to work to sweep something under the rug when it will sweep itself under the rug?
It just feels as if they're okay one way or the other at this point. Whereas there was so much like riding on Batman v Superman, and then it did not do in terms of critics and fan eyes what it should have done. And then there was so much riding on Suicide Squad because they were trying to like topple this Marvel beast by mimicking their business model, and now they're kind of going away from, they're straying from that a little bit.
Well, that's
and that's all due to Wonder Woman.
That's in theory,
right?
I mean, that's based on perception, but perceptions are kind of different.
Sure.
You know? So, I mean, there's a possibility that they're doing that, but, I mean, read the article. We'll find out.
So, 4 reasons Justice League can afford to fail. 1, Warner Brothers has already had a hell of a year. This isn't Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice opening in early 2016 after Warner Brothers' mediocre 2015 slate. This is Justice League opening at the end of a rather strong year. Lego Batman movie, Kong Skull Island really did well, apparently, worldwide.
I understand.
I'm going to see it in a couple weeks. It's going to be very exciting. Annabelle Creation did well.
You'll know what I know.
The Conjuring movies did well. And Wonder Woman. Yeah, there was that one.
Really?
There was that one.
Small Wonder Woman movie?
Number 2, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are the future. So kind of we were just talking about how DC had been trying to mimic the Marvel model. Wonder Woman comes out and they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't try to rush a cinematic universe. Maybe we should just show our best characters in their own standalone movies, and that seems to be where they're headed now. So, assuming James Wan's Aquaman is at least a solid 3-star entertainment, I'd be shocked if it wasn't, considering his track record. Justice League will merely be an obligation to power through before getting to the next wave of DC films. And that's, I think, what I feel like. I feel like they're kind of like, hey, you know, we know this movie's had a lot of issues. We know Zack Snyder's had a lot of issues. Just watch it. Enjoy it. We think it's okay now.
It's good that we're reading these like before the show like actually drops, because next week, if it does the slightest bit of good business, everyone will be saying like everything was riding on this one, and finally
rewriting the narrative, rewriting the history, but that's a typical response, right? It's always post-mortem when you can kind of shape it to fit whatever narrative
but I mean,
if you're trying to deliver.
The problem is that we so rarely pay attention to what's happened before the event that we kind of all go along with the narrative afterwards. Because I remember when Days of Future Past, was it? X-Men Days of Future Past? I remember when that was coming out, and I just saw all this verbiage on Facebook about, does anybody even care? Is anybody even paying attention? Is anybody even going to see this tonight? Yeah. And then it boomed. It became a decent,
First Class, in a way, it was very similar to that, too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this one was written off. First Class was like, okay, this is going to be a comeback. Okay. But this one was like, all right, so this is a second, it's a second resurgence.
Well, they found out Wolverine got sent back in time, and then it completely, well, they can't do that. That's terrible. It's got to be Kitty Pryde.
There's a ton of stuff. Yeah. There's a ton of crap. But the film came out and did well. Yeah. So now all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's back. It's alive again. Sony is, they're not Sony, excuse me, Fox. Fox is resurrected. All these, there's 10 more movies coming out now. There's going to be another Spider-Man movie, and it just went crazy. Days before it came out, people were like, does anybody, like crickets, does anybody even know this movie is still coming out? But then after that, you couldn't go on social media and see anybody talk about like, oh, I knew this movie was going to, everyone was like, this is going to be, it needed to do this because they were on their last legs. They were firing people left and right. Someone had set, Fox on fire. They were planning to shoot them up to the moon. They weren't even going to be on Earth anymore. It was crazy. So it's going to be the same thing. Now, if this movie flops, if it's a serious flop,
so okay,
that's gonna be a very different story. That's the only time it's gonna get interesting. It's if this really flops.
So good question, right? Or good point you're bringing up, because Rob Liefeld actually tweeted out this week too. Justice League prediction opens to 154 million, 1.2 billion worldwide. That's his Money Island prediction for Justice League.
From his experience after seeing it.
No,
or just in general.
I don't know. He didn't specify, and
so he was just
tweeting his prediction. I wrote back.
He's just pissing in the wind.
I wrote back that I see Friday doing really well, and then kind of tapering off by the end of the weekend.
Well, it's got
global box office picking up the slack.
Look. You know what? It's a sweet spot because from now until December 15th or whatever, Star Wars, it's Justice League game.
Sure.
So even if it's terrible, everyone's going to run to see it because there's nothing else happening.
Oh, what a segue. We're going to play.
That's what I do.
Music. Would you rather? Is that
the music?
That's all we got. I mean, we're waiting for
Was that something?
That was it.
Were you actually? No, but I mean, were you actually? Was that a rendition of something that I just can't recognize?
No.
I made
it up on the spot.
You should be a songwriter.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather? And we already kind of did the Justice League opening night versus binge watch The Punisher on Netflix. Would you rather go see either or go rewatch Thor? If you had a choice, it's Friday. You have a choice between Punisher, Justice League, or just going to see Thor Ragnarok again. What are you doing? What are you folks doing? Let me know.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you to answer right now.
No,
and then
definitely go see Justice League. I already saw Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So that's not even a question.
So it's not like it because everyone, the fan response to Ragnarok was like, this is so unbelievable. This is so groundbreaking. This is so different than anything we've seen, and they dig it.
But it's not, though. Thor was basically Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
It was exactly the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great, but it's not something we've never seen before.
Go check us out, youtube.com/Secrets of the Sire. And you can check out our Did Thor ripoff Guardians.
Yes.
One more before we go to commercial. Would you rather, Hassan, and I throw this out to the audience,
okay,
rewatch the first two films from the Zack Snyder Trilogy before consuming Justice League, or rewatch the Disney Star Wars films before Last Jedi?
I would rather,
and for the masses out there, you can for the masses out there, you can swap out Disney Star Wars films with prequels if you wanted to.
I would rather watch Zack Snyder's.
That's a title. I know.
Movies.
All right, we're gonna do one before we go to break.
That's a terrible. That's so mean.
I had a good one. This is too topical. Would you rather binge the Marvel Netflix universe or the DC Arrowverse? When we go to commercial, when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Legalize the earth to continue to resist the passage of this necessary legislation.
Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
then you have come to the right place, because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show, Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
The superpower you wish you had?
Teleportation.
Ooh.
There you go.
I always go flight. I'm always like, I want to fly.
You teleport, you don't need to fly.
Right.
You'll never be late for work.
That's what you would do. This is why you're the co-host of a middling podcast, because you don't dream big enough.
Because I can't teleport. If I could teleport, you think I would be sitting here right now?
You'd be on time.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every week. We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the fun stuff you love to talk about. Before we went to commercial,
I'd
actually
talk about gardening.
Actually, before we continue, I'd like to say that Secrets of the Sire is brought to you by all of our beloved patrons.
Now we're paying the
with
bills.
dedicated fans: Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, Ashley Haikai, our program director Stephanie Dolce, our executive producer Steve Ovecki, Brian Phillips, and Christina Gillen, and as always, our Uber fan Christina Dolce. We were throwing out Would You Rather's,
yes.
And let me paint this Would You Rather really thick before we welcome our.
You're gonna paint it real thick.
Yeah, before we welcome our guest, because I want to hear his thing too. You can only binge for the rest of your life. Okay, I'm giving stakes, a sense of urgency.
Binge for the rest of your life.
You can only watch one universe: the Marvel Netflix universe or the DC Arrowverse.
Oh boy!
Like if you choose one, you cannot see the other.
That's crazy.
That's the whole point of the game.
Are you asking me? Or
I'm asking you.
Putting it out.
I'm asking you. I'm also putting it out there, but
I guess it would have to be Marvel, though. I find Marvel stuff to be way more uneven than the Arrowverse stuff. But the Arrowverse stuff is, in my humble opinion, very sophomoric, and so it kind of, I think the Marvel stuff plunges a lot deeper into real life issues, into social issues and stuff like that. And I think the Arrowverse tends to preach a lot. It gets really preachy, but the stakes never really get high, and they never really go into three-dimensional territory.
So you can only choose one, and you're gonna go Marvel. All right,
I gotta go Marvel.
Let's find out what our guest thinks. He is the creator and publisher, award-winning writer, and artist for Stan Lee's Godwoke, William Shatner War Chronicles, and my collaborator recently on Sire with his character crossover, Phaser. I want to welcome the great Mariano Nicieza. How's it going, Mariano?
Hey, great to be here. Thank you, Mike.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're playing Would You Rather, and we threw out a series of Would You Rather questions. As an experienced comic book veteran, I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Would you rather, if you could only choose one, go see Justice League opening night, or you're going to binge watch Punisher?
Ooh, these are tough.
We do not sugarcoat anything. We do not keep it easy. This is the major leagues.
Very, very tough.
It's not really the major leagues. We're a step above minor.
Binge watch Punisher.
Oh, that seems to be the general consensus. Like, people can seem to wait for Justice League to come out, and they're more excited for Punisher coming out. All right, we got a couple more, and you're gonna. I would love you if you could humor us here. Would you choose to see Justice League Punisher, or go rewatch Thor Ragnarok?
Even tougher, because I haven't made it to Thor Ragnarok yet.
So then I think you definitely need to go see Thor Ragnarok. I think that's the answer right there.
I agree. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one last question, and then we're gonna get into the cool stuff you're doing with the William Shatner Singularity and Stan Lee's Godwoke and Phaser and all this fun stuff. Would you rather rewatch the first two films from the Zack Snyder Trilogy, that's Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, or rewatch the prequels before going in to see Last Jedi? Yeah, I tilted it.
Definitely the DC verse.
Oh, all right. Okay. I like it. Mariano, talk to us about working with Stan Lee and working on the series with him, with Godwoke.
Godwoke started as a poem that Stan Lee wrote back in 1971, and it kind of just sat in a file somewhere. And I read it in just a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I read it for the first time, and I didn't know that he had written it back in 1970 something.
Wow!
It just resonated. It sounded very relevant, and it resonated. And I ran it by my brother Fabian, who's also a writer, co-creator of Deadpool.
We've never heard of him.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead. I was making a very bad joke.
There's no such thing, not from you.
That's
Never.
right. I agree. I like our guests when they trumpet me. Go ahead.
So I ran it by him. He loved it as well. And then we had done, both of us had worked at Marvel, both of us have worked with Stan in the past. So the lines of communication were open. So we started kicking around what we could do with this, how we could convert it into something other than a poem. And when I initially read it, and because it's Stan, it actually read like a story. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. So essentially, Fabian took that and treated it as if it was a finished script, and retrofitted, or retro. What's the word I'm looking for? When you sort of rework it, revamp it, go backwards. Turn the script into what's
reboot.
The word I'm looking for?
Reboot.
Reboot.
No.
That could be a good one too.
Revamped. Yeah, we're gonna go revamped.
That's the term I was looking for. Re-engineered.
Oh, there you go. Would you rather revamp or re-engineer?
Re-engineer is more syllables. Get a lot more money.
And he turned it into a plot. Once there was a plot, there was something for me to take, to sink my teeth into and illustrate. I brought in some other friends, co-creators that helped me, and we turned it into an 80-page graphic novel. I did maybe 60, 65 pages, and then a few people did some extra pages here and there. And at the end of the day, we ended up with an 80-page graphic novel, which we published as a hardcover, collectible, deluxe, bells and whistles book.
Cool.
It's also out there digitally. It's a comic on Comixology, a graphic novel on Comixology. But we're super proud because last year it won an award. It won a publishing award. And then it also won an award for a motion comic that we did out of it.
Wow.
So it's been very, very exciting. It's far from over. We're promoting it very heavily at conventions right now, where there are autographed copies by Stan, by Fabian, by me, by the rest of the creative team. So having a lot of fun with it.
Very
Definitely
cool.
Having fun with Godwoke.
And how did you get involved with Shatner Singularity? That's William Shatner, the William Shatner from Star Trek fame. Talk to us about that involvement.
Mr. Shatner and I go back a long way, 1991 to be exact. I had just been hired at Marvel as an art director, and I attended a weekend convention. It was, I think it was billed as the two captains, because it was the first time William Shatner and Patrick Stewart were together.
Okay.
And at the time, I had read a novel that he had written called Tech War. And as I read that novel, it was very visual and very striking, and sort of like a fun popcorn action-adventure book. But it struck me that it would make the visuals that he was describing in the book would make a really cool comic.
Mm-hmm.
So with my freshly minted Marvel Spider-Man business card, I got into the convention, and I was around noon. And by 10 o'clock that evening, I had the convention promoters introducing me backstage to Mr. Shatner, and that was the beginning of it. He called up a couple days later at Marvel because he was obviously interested in having Marvel do something with it.
Sure.
And it turned into a comic that ran for about 2.5 years called Tech World, and that sort of cemented our relationship. We've done, and then through the years, we've done business in various forms, various projects, and then lately, about 5 years ago, we got together to convert a novel series that he had done, Man of War, and then another sequel that was Law of War. And the concept was to take that body of work and convert it into a graphic novel. So that's exactly what we did, and we created the umbrella title War Chronicles, so it could be an ongoing thing. And it's currently on Comixology right now as a digital comic.
So you definitely actually. Well, let's get into your last creation, which is Phaser, which has been around for a while, and it recently intersected with my character. It's some shameless plugs going on, which is very exciting. In the new issue of the Sire, we kind of cross over with the War of Independence. Give us the 30-second elevator pitch on who Phaser is, and then just give us a little background on what he does. And then I want to start asking you, because you've been mentioning a lot about digital comics, and I want to get into digital comics versus print comics very shortly. So real quick, 30-second log line, Phaser.
Wow, 30 seconds. This is pressure.
Would you rather? No.
Phaser is a blend of X-Files, Indiana Jones, and a little bit of Star Wars sprinkled in. It's essentially a chase story. He's a scientist on Earth. He's working with alien technology. Aliens are real. UFOs are real. Government knows about it. They've been studying them and working with them for decades. And he has developed a Project Phaser, it's called, and he's developed a reactor, a revolutionary new reactor that is going to create a new power source. As new as fire or electricity or atomic energy, this is like a brand new type of energy. And as in all great science fiction, it backfires on him, and the end result is that he is bombarded with this energy, and it changes him on a molecular level. So he's no longer able to remain in the same time frame. He's constantly skipping through time uncontrollably, and whenever he lands in a different time period, he manifests a different superpower. That's where we are right now. Things will change as time goes on, but that's the initial gist of the character.
And all three of these creations, these collaborations, in the Phaser's case, obviously it's your baby, your creator own character, can all be found in Comixology. Sire is up on Comixology. A lot of people are kind of moving in that direction. You do a lot with like you said, motion comics and digital comics. Is that your preference? I mean, do you like that, or you still love having a nice hard copy, printed copy where you could smell the ink on the paper, printed copy in your hands?
No, who the heck wants that? What are you talking about? No, listen, I like all of us, we've grown up with comics, and I love paper comics. I love print. I'm not here to stamp some kind of a warpath against printed comics. The unfortunate reality that we live in is that more and more technology creeps into our lives. And there are some print mediums that have very successfully transformed into digital. If we think about newspapers, if we think about magazines, right now we think nothing about pulling that up on our smartphone or pulling that up on our tablets.
Yep.
Books, printed books, same thing. So some of these have made the transition seamlessly, to the point where we don't even think about it anymore.
Sure.
Comics, unfortunately, is a very, very tough nut to crack. I call it the Holy Grail because there hasn't been, in my mind at least, there has not been a true transition from that printed comic to a digital format. Nothing quite has the impact or the power of opening up that comic and seeing that spread of artwork, or again touching and feeling that paper.
Sure.
So it may be that never happens.
Yeah.
It may be that there's never a transition the way newspapers and magazines and books have transitioned. It may be that both coexist forever and ever. I don't know, but I do know that we owe it to a brand new audience that has never grown up with paper, and they're out there now. All they've known are iPhones and tablets.
That's right.
We owe it to them.
That's Alpha
to
Intern.
sort of, give them the same magic that we fell in love with with the paper stuff.
Very cool. Now, all three of these creations and collaborations you've been a part of will be on display at the New Jersey Comic Expo this weekend in Edison, New Jersey. Just tell folks where they can find you there and where they can find you online.
We are actually New Jersey Comic Expo, and I'm glad you mentioned it. Fantastic convention in Edison, Saturday and Sunday. We actually have a panel at 11:30 on Saturday where we're going to be displaying a lot of this material. Tom DeFalco, former editor-in-chief of Marvel and one of my favorite writers in the industry, will be with us. We're actually starting very large at that show. We're going to have a 20 by 20 booth, so you really can't miss us at that show. And it's going to be something that we kick off into 2018, where we're going to have a very strong presence at conventions throughout the country. I'm glad you asked.
Very cool. Well, Mariano, thank you so much for your time. And again, check them out at New Jersey Comic Expo. You can check them out online, Apex Comic Group, or just Mariano Nicieza on Twitter. Mariano, I'll see you this weekend.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it.
When we come back, we're going to keep going with the Would You Rathers a little bit. If we've got some creative ones, some clever ones we can do. And we're also going to do our favorite segment, which is Spinning the Racks, when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
TalkingAlternative.com.
You ever seen like the old men at the Starbucks? Like they have their little like.
I don't go to Starbucks.
Oh, I do. I work at
I'm
Starbucks.
a man.
It's fantastic, and they just have these old men club, and they just sit around and talk about the good old days.
That's why I don't go into Starbucks. It's a creepy sausage fest on caffeine.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I want to thank our guest, Mariano Nicieza. Going to check him out at the New Jersey Comic Expo. I'll be at New Jersey Comic Expo. I think I'm C4 is my booth, or C11. It's either one or the other. I don't remember which one is, but you won't miss us. You won't miss. You'll see the big Sire sign. You'll check out all that cool stuff. So it'll be really great. Maybe Hassan will be there. We'll see. But we'll be pimping our wares, and that's always a good thing. And we're working on some good stuff with Mariano too for the show, which is good.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's a great guest.
So let's say, with the limited time that we have, we go spinning the racks, bringing you the most fantastical pop culture news out there.
Spin the rack, spin that rack.
He just has never. You've never recovered from it.
That gag never works. You know why? Because no one can see me. So I could be sitting here with a clown outfit on, and nobody would know.
That will change, my friend. That will change. Netflix, The Punisher, kind of keeping with the theme here, totally reboots his Marvel origin story. See, reboots. Would you rather reboots or re-engineers?
How does it reboot? Give us a definition before you ask questions.
As Marvel's The Punisher heads to Netflix, it's worth observing how much Frank Castle has evolved. On the surface, it looks the same as Frank Castle does in the comics. Black clothes, check. Leather trench, check. White skull, check, check. But beyond the scary arsenal and inside his actual skull, therein lies a different Frank Castle we've known since 1974. In short, the origin story of the character is now totally different from the comics.
Wow.
Hold on.
Was that the extent of the article?
No. But I wanted to stop here and say spoiler.
Because I was going to say that's
spoiler. Punisher's origin in the comics. Mob kills his family.
Yep.
In the new Netflix series, it is the government that is actually working against one of their own. He was a former sniper and is now working against their own, and they engineer the death of his family. So now he's not going after the mob. He is going after the people within our own government who set him up.
All right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Which kind of sets him up to not be a vigilante and more and more he's going after like targeted like government situations.
Yeah.
Which kind of, I don't know. I think they're shying away from that.
Do you think it's a politically? I don't mean political
because I mean they pulled him. I don't know if they knew they had foresight, but they pulled his appearance at NYCC because of the Las Vegas thing.
Yeah.
And the Punisher does glorify guns.
Oh yeah.
I mean, beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond the wildest imagination, he glorifies guns, and we are definitely in a gun crisis right now abroad. I mean, like this latest thing, which they're talking about, like it was 5 different gunmen happening all over the, like the last thing I read. I don't have the full details of it, but I mean, we just had another one. Let's just say, and so. It's probably, I don't know. It's probably.
Do you think
prudent.
It's agenda-driven? I don't want to say agenda. It's too harsh because that.
It's prudent to kind of do this and to narrow down the target.
It's a good word.
Instead of him just kind of wandering around and shooting anybody who he doesn't seem to like or he thinks is a criminal.
Right.
It's probably more difficult to justify that at this point.
But you actually made it off the air a good point. At one point was
those are the only good points I make.
The one-dimensional character. I mean, in a sense, he's a one-dimensional character, right? And it always worked, though. It was like Punisher only kills bad.
He is a one-note character.
One note. Punisher only kills bad people, so it's already kind of like established in his DNA.
Is that he has the monopoly on who's good and bad, and then it's too broad a stroke for you not to be able to sit there and pick it apart.
Yeah.
When it's a comic book and it's been around, it's like in the 80s where everything was black and white. You're either a great guy or you were, or you were either John McClane or you were Darth Vader. You could probably get away with that, but now, like you were saying, everything is 3-dimensional. Everything is, everything is nuanced. So you can't. It's like the Matrix. The Matrix worked in 1999. If you look at the Matrix, and I was probably one of the few people in the audience going, yeah, they're shooting cops, though. Like everyone else was like, this is awesome. It's like the slow motion thing with bullets falling out of the shell casings coming out of
But you knew the cops weren't really cops.
It doesn't, and
you're just looking at it from a purely visual standpoint.
From a visual standpoint, it's beautiful.
No.
That was I know.
Okay,
I know where you're going. I'm getting there. It was beautiful, and that's kind of what got people past it. It was done in a very visually, aesthetically beautiful way, even though it's violence. But if you did think about it,
but if it was
I know where you're going. But if you thought deeply about it, you're saying you gave me a one-line explanation for why this is okay. These guys are so hopelessly dependent on the system that they'll do anything to defend it. And so we have to kill them. That was their one-note defense of the spectacular visuals of violence that we were going to see.
Don't forget, though, some of those cops were also the bad guys. Literally the bad guys.
No. They all had the potential to be the bad guy, and that's why they had to do it. And that was the explanation that they gave us. And if you pick it apart, you're like, yeah, I get you, but you're still killing a bunch of cops who mostly they actually went out of their way to display them, kind of just lollygagging around the lobby there, like reading newspapers and stuff like that. One guy actually was in the middle of his newspaper and they shot him, and the newspaper split in half. So these things can be dissected. I think if Marvel is doing this for the reasons that we're talking about, they probably want to reduce the aftermarket dissection as much as humanly possible.
It's gonna hurt the series? I mean,
Probably
again,
not.
the reviews for the most part are like, wow, it's Punisher done right and Punisher great.
It's not gonna hurt anything. I mean, Marvel can probably do no wrong with their television show. I mean, other than the fact that the only thing that could hurt it is it's too long. You know, it goes too deep and it doesn't really get to the point.
Sure.
And that's kind of their Achilles heel with all these shows.
Sticking with that theme, though, of just Marvel TV shows,
and they don't have to worry about fight scenes because he's going to shoot everybody.
That's right. You pointed this one out over the weekend. Actually, Marvel's Netflix series likely moving to Disney streaming service in 2019. This is courtesy of comicbook.com. The Marvel and Star Wars brands have been a particular focus of discussion. However, soon after word came down, Marvel and Star Wars movies are definitely being moved over to the Disney service, and now we have confirmation the Marvel Netflix series will be doing the same.
And then after CBS has their own for Star Trek.
Well, that's what I actually wanted to talk about, right? Like, it's funny because we're cord cutting, right? We're like, we're getting rid of the cord. This is great. Everything's gonna be great.
Though.
But we're really not. Now we're just replacing.
They're setting us up to pay for every channel on cable separately.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying.
And then there's people
now.
like this is the same stupid argument I had a while ago with the cloud, right? I don't know, we got a minute. Everyone was like, "Oh, this cloud's great. I don't have
He's
to."
He's fired up right now.
Yeah, I don't have to spend. I have to use all this memory up on my computer. I got the cloud now. I could get songs anywhere I want. I have the cloud. I don't have to kill my computer memory. I'm like, yeah, but you don't own it now.
Yeah.
Now you don't own. Now you're renting for life.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is the other thing. We're getting rid of the cable because cable's gouging us and they're killing us. Like, but they're gonna gouge you anyway.
Yeah.
They've monetized single channels now.
I know.
They used to have to give it to you lump sum, and they used to have to use it as an incentive for you to buy it. Now they know you're just gonna put more quarters in the feed bar. You know. And it's ridiculous, and nobody gets it. And everyone was like, "I like it so much better now. This is so trendy. It's so hip. It's so much better than what I had before, and I like it so much." And you're a bunch of idiots. You're all fools.
Happy birthday, Hassan!
Thank you.
His birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to Anna.
No one's gonna wish me a happy birthday because I just
birthday to
called them
Rob
all
too,
idiots.
even though his birthday's
happy
in
birthday,
May / January. And next week the reviews are in. We're gonna give you our take on Justice League movie and Punisher. We're gonna let you know which one we watched.
And we're gonna have turkey. We're gonna have turkey in the studio. Right?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Tryptophan.
We'll see you next
week,
guys.
Pass out.
Thank you, Mariano.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or inchpreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com. Talking Alternative.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on talkingalternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
Then you have come to the right place because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.